Hello and welcome again to a new video. Today we are going to talk about international auxiliary languages, or short auxlangs. Well, I won't focus on all auxiliary languages, instead I will only focus on the constructed ones, the auxiliary conlangs. Why are there auxlangs? Over the centuries people needed auxiliary languages. They were used to communicate between different groups of people. In general, we do not speak the same language, but speaking the same language or the same language shows, like in the story of Babel, that it helps working together. The first natural international languages were the lingua francas. Lingua francas, literally meaning French, describes a natural language that is used to communicate with others. They mainly were used to trade globally. For a long time this were the colonial languages like English, French, Portuguese and Spanish, and sometimes regionally the languages of big trade nations like Arabic, Greek and Chinese. First, constructed languages. Why do constructed languages exist? Natural languages are very irregular. Why is it mouse and mice and not mouses? And why is every sea in Pacific Ocean pronounced differently? English as a natural auxlang is very irregular, for example. People started to think of constructed languages, conlangs. The second reason is the cultural aspect. When speaking English, there's always a cultural impact from the USA and England. People from enemy territories like, Ireland and China probably don't want to learn the language their enemies speak. Simplification. One early idea was to simplify an existing language. A recent example is Basic English, an English-based language that has a smaller word count, around 1 to 2,000 words, and regular grammar. Joachim Fréjus de Villeneuve was the first person to come up with this idea. In the rest of the 17th and 18th century, many people came up with philosophical languages, but these were very incomplete. The first important auxlang was Sol de Sol by François Sudre. It's a funny language, it is based on music, do re mi fa sol la ti do. You should look into it, but there were no fluent speakers. The next important language is Volapük. Volapük, made by Joachim Martin Schleyer, was the first aux conlang to gain a big community. But its community later decreased drastically and only around 20 people speak Volapük nowadays. After a fight, the International Volapük Academy split into two. One loyal to the creator Schleyer and another one under Waldemar Rosenberger. The last one changed Volapük to the new language Idiom Neutral. The name also changed to Académie Internationale des Lingues Universales in 1898. Giuseppe Peano went a totally new way to language construction. Inspired by Leibniz, he simplified Latin and called it Latino sine flexione, that means Latin without conjugation and declination. This language was later called Interlingua, and the Académie Internationale des Lingues Universales adapted it in 1908. It changed its name to Academia pro Interlingua. It survived till 1939. In 1951, the International Auxiliary Language Association presented a new Interlingua. Now we come to Esperanto. Esperanto was developed by Ludwig Laser-Zamenhof. The first version was published in 1878. His intention was that in his hometown the Jews, Germans, Poles and Russians could not communicate with each other. Esperanto got much traction. Maybe it was so popular because the speakers could easily derive words from root words. The problem with auxlangs is the missing culture, but Esperantists created their own culture really fast. It had thousands of fluent speakers, especially in Eastern Europe. There was a World Convention in 1905, but it never got internationally taught. Iran and other nations proposed it in 1922, but the proposal failed. Under the regimes of the 20th century, Esperanto was forbidden. It was so close to becoming an international language, but still failed. Nonetheless, it is quite popular today and even has native speakers, probably also 60,000 to 2 million L2 speakers. The Delegation for the Adoption of an International Auxiliary Language was founded in 1900. It adopted Ido and not Esperanto. Ido is a reformed version of Esperanto. It did not have a big impact, to be honest. There are many versions of Esperanto. They are called Esperantidos. There were many more conflicts like Interlingua and Novial, but they all kind of failed. At the last Interlingua meeting there were 5 participants, and Novial has an unknown number of speakers, probably none. The Internet Age. The Internet Age brought back many languages, for example Kotava, Lingua Franca Nova, Lingua de Planeta, Pandunia and Sambasha. There are major communities for constructed org slangs. Conclusion. As you can see, there were hundreds of constructed org slangs. Okay, maybe just a few handful, but some of them were really popular. There are also zonal auxiliary languages, which are for certain language families like Indo-Slavic. There are still big communities for Esperanto or Interlingua, but they have yet to be implemented on state level. Maybe I can create awareness for them. I'll try it at least. That's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe and share the video somewhere. Till next time.